Vision without details, it's fantasy. So any big vision that you have, any mission that you have in your mind, or anything that you want to change, and because we're discussing in these streams taking over media, we're discussing about the big goal of dominating in media, whatever it is, social media or printed media. So if you want to go for such a big goal, it's just mere wishful thinking if you do not focus on details, because the intellectually curious people, they focus on details, they are meticulous, and that's what we're going to discuss today. So if you want to join, just click on the link, and I will put you here on camera. So I have learned it the hard way, of course, but I've seen it so many times in my life. In the big companies that I worked in, I have seen how those companies were undermining details and how negatively it impacted their revenue. Of course, they had visionary leaders who see the big picture, that try to inspire us, the simple workers, that we need to, to focus on this big picture. But the problem is that they could not see the details. And the details is like steps that you need to take to achieve this bigger vision. And any leader who is going to oversee those, underestimate those small steps, are not going to get to this vision. So vision is just a direction where you are going, but the detailed oriented thinking, it helps you to build systems that will allow you to reach there and have a balance between focusing on details too much and micromanaging. Yeah, so having a balance so that you don't fall into micromanaging, but at the same time you don't oversee details that will be catastrophic to your ship. Just like with Titanic, they had a big vision that they are the gods of the seas. The engineers, they were sure that this ship is unsinkable, but the small details were not taken into attention, and specifically the waters where they were, and that the iceberg has a power to destroy, this unsinkable ship. So they didn't think about like one small detail is how to navigate without without colliding with the iceberg. Small detail costed so many lives, and because also they didn't think that this ship can sink, the Titanic didn't have the life vests, didn't have enough their life rafts to save all people. Like small detail, everything worked well, everything worked fine, except of this small detail. But we're not going to talk about such a tragic things. Let us talk about what we are working on. We are here creators, small entrepreneurs, maybe bigger entrepreneurs. Maybe you have some like medium company. I don't think that any Elon Musk is watching me, but most probably you are doing something and you want to go somewhere, and media is important for you, and you are thinking how to dominate media in your industry. So small details that you might overlook for your industry, they might cost you a lot. But let us just start with breaking down what are the details and how they can influence your development as an entrepreneur or let's say as a creator who wants to influence on YouTube or on social media. So let's start with what is necessary for you to achieve your goal. Your big picture is to dominate in this industry, right? You need to understand what is necessary to dominate in this industry. Let's say you have to have very clear personal brand. You have to have a clarity about what product you are providing, what problem are you solving. You have to have clarity in these things. But let's say you have clarity of where you are going, but then little details related to your product delivery or your solution to the problem that you are promoting, missing some small details. For instance, you have a book to sell, but people cannot find your book because you didn't think of searchability of your book. You never searched your own book. You thought it's enough just to release your book on Amazon, share a few links there, here and there, and then let's say you are invited to a big conference where you would be talking about this book. And people are asking, wow, such a great book, where can I find it? And you say it's available on Amazon. And they go to Amazon, they search your name, but they cannot find. Why they cannot find? You've been just searching some time ago and you could find. That's because your search is limited to just few countries. Because when you were posting, you overlooked just one tick saying that is available in all countries, just for example, right? Or another detail that can destroy your searchability of your YouTube channel. Let's say you are publishing your YouTube video and there is a question. Is your video made for kids or not? And you think, obviously my video can be watched by kids, so let me select this checkbox that it can be watched by kids, meaning that it's not made for adults, like the videos for adults. That's what we try to avoid, people thinking that this video is for adults. And then what happens with your YouTube video? It lands on the kids YouTube channel and on the kids YouTube application. So it means adults cannot watch it and kids are not interested. So your video flops and you discover that you have made this mistake in setting in 2-3 days, for instance. Yeah, these 2-3 days already YouTube have tested your video, have shown to people and understood that it's not worthy of distribution. So you have spent 2 days to record this video, but then you have lost the opportunity to use this upload to distribute to your potential audience because of one small mistake. But that's just an example, because I myself, I was not very clear about what details actually can sink my boat. Without understanding which details can sink my own boat, you can never improve in this. You will not be able to use this wisdom of being intellectually curious and focus on details if you don't understand which details matter, because not all details matter. Those details matter that are critical to achieving your goal. Those details matter. And big companies, huge companies like Google, for instance, made mistakes of not understanding which details are critical. For instance, you know that Google in 2009-10, they have closed their social media platform called Google+. Why it was closed? because many details that they thought were important, they were pursuing, and those details that they didn't think were important, they were important. So by misunderstanding what details were important, they have lost the game to Facebook and TikTok that came few years later. So what happened? Let me give you just few examples of what Google Plus overlooked. There was a requirement for you to create a Google Plus account anytime you want to use other features of Google Space. You, for instance, you wanted to have your new Gmail, you were compelled to create a Google Plus. You wanted to use, I don't know, some other, let's say Google Docs. You were compelled to create Google Plus all the time for use of those features. And people didn't want to have one more social media, especially because this social media was not was lagging sometimes, was not working perfectly. So instead of putting their effort into improvement of operation of the social media itself, what Google Plus was doing, they were investing all their time into integration of their social media into the ecosystem of customers they had already. And customers got tired of this. They didn't want, so they rejected this social media. Instead of this, they had to see other details. They had to see what is the experience of the customers. What was important for those customers? What didn't work? They didn't focus on this. They just thought, let's make it compulsory for everyone. And even the team of Google Plus, according to my research, was also not that motivated because they were pushed to do what wasn't logical for them. They didn't listen to engineers who were talking about the challenges they had and things like that. So as a result, we don't have Google Plus. Today, we hear a lot about what Facebook is saying about this virtual reality, you know, these glasses, these huge glasses that you can wear to experience the virtual reality. I remember some years ago, they were saying, they were promoting this virtual reality and saying that they are creating so many worlds and everyone will be in those worlds, and time passes, no one goes to those worlds. I mean, someone goes, but I don't know even one person who went to those worlds. I don't know even one person who wear these glasses. Well, I know one person who wear generally glasses with the camera, and they are not that comfortable to wear it all the time because they are uncomfortable here on the ears. So the problem of the technology that is there, provided by Facebook and pushed by Facebook to make this technology popular, it's heavy, it's not comfortable to use. And because it's not comfortable to use, it means it's underdeveloped. Instead of promoting it, it would be better to work with a group of people who would give feedback and improve until you get there. Another company that you most probably heard of, BlackBerry, the company who had the grandfather of the normal phone we have, the smartphone we had. It had a large monitor, but it had the buttons instead of touch screen. When touch screen was laughed about, when I remember I remember I was working in Dell. I was working in Dell department of my call center, and we had people from Dell coming from UK and from Ireland and from all over the Europe. They were gathering for some kind of summit there. And I remember that they were laughing about the smartphone of Apple that had a touch screen that was very sensitive. And it was so sensitive that you couldn't put it to the ear. So you had to speak like that, and they were laughing about this. Yeah. At the same time, some of them were still using the BlackBerry. And it was more reliable because the touch screen was not behaving weirdly. But the technology was in the development stage, and what BlackBerry company overlooked, most probably they also laughed about underdevelopment of the touch screens. They laughed instead of researching what is the desire and the preference of the customer. So once the Apple took over the market, BlackBerry didn't have any more resources to change their trajectory because they were sure that they have a big picture and they will take over the market with their phones. So these examples, they might be too far from you. You might be just thinking, okay, I want to I want to feed kids in Africa, and I don't care about those companies. I'm just thinking, how do I deliver books to Africa, for instance, because those projects are on my mind. For example, for instance, you just want to help, and you think, I'm not the company, I'm not the corporation, and I don't need to research the market. But there are things that will stop you as well on the way to your goal, no matter how good is your goal, how brilliant is your goal, how amazing it is, and how helpful it is to people. Just because you have a great vision is not going to come true unless you count all details. For instance, with this books project, I was thinking of making affordable the books that I used to equip my students to be affordable in Africa. For them to be affordable in Africa, I thought maybe the best solution would be to have libraries. So we could just send books there, and the library would serve people, so they would follow specific requirements to get the books. They could read, they could educate themselves. But then, in the process of research on how to deliver those books to Africa, I found out that 10 books to be delivered, just a delivery, the cheapest service from Europe, it would cost 150 euro. 150 euro to just deliver 10 books without even purchasing them. So you see, the idea is great, the vision is great. I even knew how to set up the libraries. But what I have overlooked is that it's not only about the price of the books, it's not only about donating the books, because I thought, well, people are reading the books and then they don't need them, so they could donate and we just send to Africa for like $20. But no, it's not $20, it's 150. So, and it's only 10 books. You cannot do library with 10 books. You can start with something, but you see, the details that I have discovered is just one detail, the price of delivery. But there are more and more and more details that will show you what is the actual way to achieve this, goal. Anything that we want to do, any big picture, is great. But then we have to sit and start digging into detail what it's gonna cost you. And I'm not talking about money. It's not only money. What is gonna cost you to bring this vision to life? Are you ready? Do you have systems that will help in this area? Because if you start without this, undermining those details that you need to have in mind to achieve the goal, at some point you will run out of resources. I have seen myself companies who started a great idea without having a good plan and without doing research, and then finding out what is the price of execution. So execution always has its price. And here is the trick. It's not only that there is a price for execution. For you to achieve goal, the quality of the execution matters. So even though you can find like cheapest solution to execute, you can, for example, you have a job that you can outsource to someone who does this job for less money. Even though you can find this solution, it doesn't mean that with this execution you will achieve your goal. So before you start moving towards your big picture, you need to understand what is the price of the execution and which quality of the execution you must have to achieve this goal. These are the details that people overlook, they underestimate. These are the details. And let me give you one example from my life just recent. So I wanted to help my students to grow faster and to relieve them of the burden of editing their own videos. Not every influencer is desiring to advance in editing. And believe me, editing can be improved so much that instead of 2 hours of editing, you can edit in 30 minutes. So much you can improve with shortcuts, with understanding different techniques, with the proper workflow, with the proper organization of the files. With the better speed of your PC, you can actually do the job much faster. You can speed up 10 times your video editing. And that's why I directed my students to my editor, video editor assistant, who was editing for me all my courses. Even those that you are watching on this channel, the free ones. So we were working 2 years and we were building the system that worked for us. So what we have achieved is that I almost never had to explain how I want the video to be edited. I was saying, my editor is called Sunday. I was saying, Sunday, I'm recording now. I'm gonna drop the videos in 2 hours. And he would say, okay. He would just take a video. He would have all necessary documents, all necessary text that is necessary for this video. He would edit, and I almost didn't have to review and check because he was following procedures. He had procedures and checklist what to check. So my after like 1 year of building this process, I had a 1 year of no-brainer, which I didn't have to control the work of the editor. I could just delegate and have my mind only on those things that only I could produce. And so I thought I'll just direct my students to follow the same process. What I have overlooked is that I have built the process, so I know the process, and that's why it worked for me. But they don't know the process, and for them just few instructions is not enough. So what happened is that the first video returned when I have seen the first video edit, I didn't like the styling. There was a miscommunication about how video should be edited. So we had a call with the customer, with my student, with my editor, and we discussed how it has to be edited. And even then, when the video was given, the result was given to my student, to the customer, she has found 20 corrections. And you know that the work where you, instead of you editing, you are giving someone the video and this person will edit for you, but then you have to make 20 corrections, this work is not going to be sustainable, because while doing these 20 corrections, you already spent 1 hour. So plus 1 hour and you can just edit yourself. It means that this system would not be sustainable. So I overlooked these details, and because I overlooked these details, I took this job on me and I started to working on building the system again, because it was a different system with me and it's a different system with another client. And what I want to achieve is that another client works the same with me, same way. She just drops videos and gets results. So you can see that these details overlooked have stolen time from the customer, has stolen time from the editor, has stolen time from me. But actually, it could be thought of earlier, and it wasn't. So this is how the big picture of getting my students free from editing and having like the free mind and not thinking about this, it turned out into taking their time. Although I want my students to understand how to delegate and what goes into building the system, but it's not the time for them to build this system. And I totally overlooked this and it crumbled. So I'm building it from the beginning, understanding this. But what if I would want, just thinking that it worked for me and I had a system for me, what if I would have accepted the work from 5 students and been prepaid? I would have to return the money. I would have to put everything aside and start working on this system to fix it, because I overlooked details. So this is how details are important. And today, by preparing to this stream, what I usually do is I educate myself with ChatGPT. I ask questions. I dig into my own understanding. I'm trying to understand where do I miss the principle, where I'm missing this principle. And I have figured out this framework. And it consists of 4 things: the vision, the details, the execution, and leadership influence. And let me break it down. So, and by the way, and ChatGPT told us, here is the framework that you and I have built. Imagine, it says this, it says you and I have built. Wow, something changed. Because before it was saying you, and now it says you and I. I mean, he's saying about him I. Interesting. But this framework is just my conclusion from going back and forth with the questions, not able to understand which details I have to look at. Because what I want to avoid is micromanaging. I want to avoid going to my editor and like checking every time he's doing the video. So to avoid micromanagement, I have to ensure that he has a system to refer to work on, so that I don't have to micromanage and check. The system doesn't have to be here. It has to be in details given to my editor. And that's what I have learned. So The vision, what I have came to a conclusion, is that the vision is the destination. Where do we go? The big picture. So leaders are usually, they are visionary. They see the big picture. They motivate people to go there. They have charisma. And they say like, just go. Yes, you have a great calling. You are called to do big things. You are called to do this and that. But in reality, they are not able to give the detailed direction or to teach people to find those detailed direction, and as a result the whole enterprise fails. So we just start with vision, saying where do we go, but then we work on details, and details are the systems and steps. And it stands for the question, how do we get there? How do we get there? And then the number 3, which is also related to details, is execution. Is excellence in what you are doing. It's how well systems run. And I'm so happy about this, because this month I was planning to talk about excellence. I didn't talk about this too much, enough I would say, but I wanted to touch this topic, and I think maybe I will really focus and we will work, we will do a very good work on excellence next month, hopefully. I'll see. So this number 3, execution, is how well system will run, and it's about the speed, the consistency. If we are talking about the media takeover, speed of your production, consistency of your production, consistency of your personal brand, of your message, it matters a lot. So the quality of execution matters a lot. Without this quality, those steps that you will do, they will not bring the same outcome as if the quality is good. So you have to look at those two things, details plus execution of those details. And what then is the leadership influence? Is the work that you need to do to balance the above things, balance the vision, details, and execution, because without this, the leader can fall either into a big picture or into a detail. So falling into details also have its own consequences. Okay, let me give you an example of, do you know Xerox? Xerox was a company that was focusing on the laser printing, mouse production, Ethernet, but most probably they are known about laser printing, Xerox. So the big picture that they leader couldn't understand is that those technologies that were appearing, the digital technologies, they underestimate the research of those technologies. So what they were focusing on the quality of their product, and they did have the best product on the market. But as the world was moving to digital tools, they undermined a big picture. They didn't understand that the shift is getting so far that their improvement of today's products and details and experience that people have with these products is already unnecessary. No one is looking for it. So, and also another that is Kodak. You heard about this 1,000 times, but let me bring it into the perspective of failing to look at the big picture. Kodak was a great company because of the quality of their production, because of the shops availability. The Kodak shops were everywhere. You could go and print your pictures in these shops. You could buy films there, but they were focusing on quality of the film so much that they have missed also the development of new era, which is digital cameras. They underestimated this, they didn't do the research. So that's how the focus on perfecting the present can destroy your big picture. To destroy your future, because you don't see the big picture. So it means that you cannot avoid the large scale tasks, the big tasks, and you cannot avoid the details. And what Dr. Sandhu spoke about on the summit, when he related to intellectual curiosity, is exactly this. He said that intellectually curious people, they marry the big picture with details. So they are not falling into either one or another. They are not missing the details, they are not missing the big picture. I think this is the main thing that I wanted to share. If you're watching me, I hope you understand. Maybe you can share with me your takeaways. What do you think about this? So as a small entrepreneur, someone who builds like medium business, imagine that if you have a picture of taking over the industry, but then you have money leaks everywhere, forgotten bills that become bigger because you missed the deadline, let's say, missed taxes, some subscriptions that had to be cancelled, pricing not calculated correctly or not updated, for instance, things like that, small leaks of money. As a result, you don't have the profit you need to develop, you don't need to the profit you need to just maintain your company alive. Clients, let's say if you work with clients or you have people you serve, as a ministry, for instance, you, let's say, too late to reply to messages, maybe you miss the deadlines, you agree with them, send wrong files, send wrong instructions, send to the link that doesn't work. All this, it returns to you into fixing things. So missing deadlines will make you go back and try to negotiate new deadline. Takes time. Send wrong file, you need to send the file again, double job. Forgot meetings, reschedule the meetings. I don't know, many things that you can do as a creator, someone who works with clients, someone who works with people who you serve, by just forgetting small things. Why it happens that you forget small things is because you are looking at what you want to achieve, but you are not thinking about the systems that have to help you to achieve those things. So it means that you are keeping everything here. And I think that detail-oriented people, they are not keeping everything here because it's not possible to control everything. You will miss out on something. So as a result, your execution will collapse at some point. You will have chaos. No operations, but chaos. And when there is chaos in your operations, there is no discussion about promotion your business, because you cannot scale your and I think we spoke on the deep dive this Tuesday, so you can go to the deep dive playlist, and we spoke about if you have bad foundation, you cannot grow and scale. It's going to destroy your foundation. So you have to fix your foundation, and details is what makes your foundation. Understanding of your big picture is the scale of your foundation, is how big is it, is the size of your foundation, and how deep is it. But then the quality of the concrete is the detail. So let's say the house that is 10 floors. This house requires a very deep foundation. It has to be very deep so that it holds all this structure. But not only deep, you cannot do this foundation with just like poor quality sandy beton cement. Yeah, you have to have very good quality cement. The bigger the building, the better has to be the quality of the foundation. It's not only about the depth. So for us to be people who are oriented on the quality, we need to focus on details and understand, start to distinguish and understand which details are important and which not. So for myself, I understood that those details are important that are related to the system, because the systematic mistakes destroy the ship. So let's go back to the Titanic and see, it's not one event that sank the Titanic. The mistake was systematic, which means that there was a lot of elements together. If they had a good security system, which I worked on the ships and I know how there are drills, you know, we had always drills, learning how to abandon the ship, learning where to find, how to direct the passengers and things like this. So if they didn't have this system in place, one mistake could destroy this Titanic. One mistake, although it could be avoided. It could be avoided that it sink, even this. So maybe it could be avoided that it sinked. It couldn't be avoided sinking, maybe, but then it could be avoided, avoiding the death of so many people, right? So to conclude, my understanding is that the details that are important are the systematic details, not one, but what repeats all the time. So if you want to develop your detail-oriented thinking, you need to think which mistakes or what things that you overlook. Oh, I think maybe if someone joined, I didn't see you. Sorry about this. Let me try to see if someone. I don't know if you tried to join this stream and it didn't respond to you. My Google Meet closed, so I'm so sorry. I'm rounding up already, so maybe if you can jump on the call for the last 5 minutes, you can do it. So the details, going back to what I was talking about, details that are important are those that are repeating. So if you are sending the same correction to your editor, for instance, it means that you are overlooking the detail that needs to be added to documentation, to SOPs, to I forgot already what's SOPs. It's not enough to use them. I also have to remember how do I break it down. Operational procedures. Special operational procedures, not specific operational procedures. So it means that if you are repeating the task twice, create SOP, even for yourself. If you are making mistake twice, that's a sign for you. You have to have a systematic solution to this. And that's what I think we need to work on. And also, I think if you work like this on the systems, then you are able to predict what needs to be done before the mistakes are happening. So by reacting to mistakes in time and not allowing for mistakes to sink the ship, you are training your mind to start seeing details. so that you can later, you can predict which details have to be taken care of. So this repetition of the task of reacting to mistakes and turning them into not repeatable, it builds your ability to predict which details will matter. So I think we will round up over here. I hope it was not too complicated topic. I think if you would join, I would know better your feedback, and I would know better how to dilute this message with different examples. But you have not been on my call, but you can still subscribe. You see, we have 131 subscribers, and it's supposed to be 1000. We are quite close, but not too much. And one of the reasons is my systematic overlook of details. I cannot get on time on the stream. I just cannot. And I think this week I gave up. I was getting ready, and then I was going when I was ready, so that I removed the pressure of me. But even this detail, it can drastically change how the channel performs. It can drastically change it. So let me think about this. Let me focus on improvement of my details. And if you are watching this in recording, tell me please, what details are you planning to improve? Or simply, what is your takeaway? What do you think about this? I would love to read it and respond to you. Thank you so much.